Hey, this is just a quick video concerning Bitcoin, digital currency, and usi-tech, but this first one is just about Bitcoin. So if you already know about Bitcoin and digital currency, just go to my other video that's titled Magical Money Machine usi-tech, and I'll see you there. So this is all about what is Bitcoin and digital currency. So let's just go to my website, magicalmoneymachine.com. What is cryptocurrency? Because I like the way that they describe it. If you really think about it, it's not so much different than how money is right now, except that the way money right now is pretty screwed up and has been for a long time. And there's no actual gold backing our money right now. We've been trying to go back to what they call the gold standard for decades, but there's too much corruption behind it. So what is cryptocurrency? A digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds operating independently of a central bank. That is an awesome statement right there, because you want to get away from the corrupt central banks. So the way this works is that there are encryption techniques called blockchains, and they are the ones that control all the transactions back and forth, and they generate these IDs, and there's these algorithms and really complicated mathematics going on, and so there's a need for computers to figure this stuff out, and that's what they call mining of the Bitcoin. So there's people that have all this equipment, and they mine the Bitcoin by doing these equations, and they're rewarded with Bitcoin. So there's some people that are making, a lot of money doing this, but you have to be more on the technical side and have the machinery, the computers to do all this calculation and all that. So that's another issue. But what I like to be involved in is just let everybody do that and let me invest in digital currency. And then with two that I've been really interested in, there's a bunch out there. There's something like 700 different digital currencies, but there's two that I'm focusing on. One is Bitcoin, which is kind of the granddaddy, the gorilla in the space. And another one is Ethereum, which is a little bit more specific and seems to have the promise of that digital currency looks pretty good. So I'm investing in both of them. So let's go to what is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a form of digital currency created and held electronically. No one controls it. Bitcoins aren't printed like dollars or euros. They're produced by people and increasingly businesses running computers all around the world using software that solves mathematical problems. So before you start thinking about, well, how do I exchange, how do I buy stuff without having that actual dollar in my hands? Well, think about all the times that you've bought things all through the internet, all through some kind of transfer of electronic funds and that kind of thing. So Japan has actually looked at Bitcoin as a viable currency, as a legitimate currency, and they're opening up all their businesses to accept Bitcoin. And there's ATMs for Bitcoin, and there's all kinds of companies that have said yes to this. And I want to go to this website page for this. You may think that it may take some time to get this going, but it's just really started, I think, 2008, 2009 for Bitcoin itself. And it's really gone from nothing for like a penny to a dime to now it's gone as high as $3,000. So here's all the companies, or a lot of the bigger companies that are accepting it as payment. Home Depot, Virgin Galactic, Subway, Kmart, Sears, Intuit, Square, Newegg, all kinds of companies. And there's a whole bunch of more, but those are the major ones that I wanted to pull up. So the reality is that it really is being accepted by major companies, and there are people out there like Bill Gates and Forbes magazine and stuff like that that have really looked at this and say, this is really a viable thing, and you better get in there, because it's got the promise of going from $3,000 up to $5,000 to $10,000 within a year or so. And then they say, if you really want to look at it, the way it's all structured is that within 10 years or something, it could go to $500,000 or $1 million per Bitcoin. So you might think, well, I can't afford that. I can't even afford the $2,000 for the Bitcoin as it is now. But the cool thing is that you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy little portions of a Bitcoin and hold on to it, let it cook, or you can invest in something like this usi-tech. which I'll get into later. So I just want to cover that and kind of whet your appetite about at least investing in some form of digital currency, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin. And the key is that it's not so much, not only that it's an investment, but also that you're investing in a new, more solid form of currency. So you may think just because we've been on this dollar standard or this US dollar for so long, and that it's the I forget the word for it, I'm sorry, but it's the accepted currency across the globe. Just because that's so doesn't mean that it's all that secure. And there's so much corruption behind the. I mean, if you knew that the Federal Reserve is not a government entity, it's a separate third-party business, a separate third-party company. We actually buy dollars from the Federal Reserve, and they charge us interest. So if you don't know that, dive into that, and it just kind of blows up the bubble about how secure, how comfortable you are with the dollar. So this really gets me excited because it's decentralized. It's not one company, a government or a country doesn't control it, and it allows us as individuals to pass money back and forth really easily and super fast. All right, so I'll move on to the next video where I go into usi-tech, which is an investment strategy for Bitcoin, and I'll see you there.